Now it's time for a new episode of Blue Orchard's Pioneer Talks. And today we're going to look at the people behind Blue Orchard. Truly a global family with one common goal of making a positive impact in the world. And today we're going to meet Lisa Sherk. She is Blue Orchard's Head of Investment Analytics, to hear more about her journey to impact investing. Promised, we are joined now via Zoom from the Netherlands by Lisa Sherk. Lisa, so great to see you.
Good to see you as well.
Okay, so you've been with Blue Orchard for more than 15 years. So it's safe to say you know the company pretty inside and out. Not to mention you've had a front row seat to its growth from this small microfinance boutique to what's now a leading global impact investment manager. That's enough to unpack there, but before we do, let's take a couple of steps back. What were you doing before Blue Orchard?
So before Blue Orchard, I was involved in sort of more mainstream asset management work. It was kind of even Wall Street-like. I lived in New York for about 15 years, and I was working at an asset manager in emerging markets fixed income. At the beginning, emerging markets fixed income was very much a niche area, and by the time I left 15 years later, it was very much a mainstream asset management sector.
Well, if you were making such strides at the time, why did you leave?
The reason I decided to look at microfinance and look at more development-focused areas is that you see when you're involved in emerging markets asset management, you see firsthand the scale of the development challenges are just enormous. And I wanted to be involved in an area that had a more grassroots, direct development purpose.
All right, so then this is why you decided to go into impact investing.
It was indeed, and I have had a great experience over the last 15 years. Some of the experiences are included in my handy Blue Orchard backpack.
All right, so what's in there? What's in that backpack?
The first item that I've brought along is the Akeko here, which I don't know if you can see them all that well. But this is, before I started with Blue Orchard, I had spent some time in Peru and Bolivia, in the Altiplano, where the Akeko comes from. He was a pre-Columbian god of prosperity and abundance. And I spent this year with a microfinance organization on a volunteer basis before moving into the field full, as a career. I wanted to see that it was something that I believed in, that's something that I thought was a useful development tool. And so the Akeko really reminds me of the time that I spent in this institution.
So what was it like back then? And what has changed? I mean, what stands out to you?
Well, that gets me to my second item in the backpack, which is this very cute little Blue Orchard pen. Again, I don't know if you can see it all that well, but this is this.
I have one too.
Ah, so you've got the newer version. I've got the older
version. You got the older version.
Mine is, this certifies me as an old timer because it has the old logo with the old colors. We had orange back then too. But no, in the early days, so Blue Orchard was a much smaller organization, obviously, a much smaller group of people. One thing that has not changed, that was in place right from the beginning and continues through to today, is a real focus on local due diligence. So we spent a lot of time meeting with the organizations that we were lending to their end clients. We don't make an investment when we haven't seen the institution ourselves in the field, and that's true. That was true then. That's true today. The changes that have taken place, obviously, are the growth. The company has grown tremendously. The assets under management have grown tremendously. The sector as a whole is much larger today than it was back then, and it's also more sophisticated in a lot of different ways. Technology that's being used. I mean, who uses a pen anymore? It's the loan officers use tablets. It's there's fintechs, there's mobile banking, and we've moved on. We've grown along with the industry.
Well, call me old-fashioned, but I'm still a pen and paper kind of gal. So I'm quite happy to have my pen. Anyway, what else have you got in your backpack?
All right, so the next item is this little box here, which contains multiple local currencies that I've collected along the years. And so we've got some notes from Tanzania, we've got notes from Georgia, we've got all kinds of Moldova, India, really a global currency collection. And I brought this along because I thought that it also represented really well. The staff at BlueOrchard, the investment team at BlueOrchard, it's an incredibly diverse group of people. There's people from 30 to 40 different countries speaking 30 to 40 different languages, and really an amazingly diverse crowd of enthusiastic, wonderful, amazing people.
Well, speaking of colleagues, your background is more in mainstream finance. Is that typical of BlueOrchard employees?
Yeah, there are a number of people at BlueOrchard that have a similar background in more mainstream finance. There's also a number, however, that come from very different backgrounds. So there's quite a number from rating agencies who have picked up some great analytical skills that they bring to the company. There's others that have worked in development organizations, either government development organizations or local private ones. There's even quite a number of people that have worked in microfinance organizations that we may have lent to in the past, and then they heard about BlueOrchard through that relationship and came and joined the team as well. So there's probably as many work backgrounds as there are national backgrounds, and it makes for a really nice, diverse crowd. In terms of education, most people have master's degrees, PhDs. They take their CFAs, and there's some legal degrees as well. So it's a wealth of highly experienced and really motivated, unique individuals. Also with the partnership with Schroders, of course, we've been introduced to their very large pool of very talented staff as well. So that's been a great connection to have.
So what's it like to work in a company where everybody's spread out all over the world in local offices?
Well, it can be a bit of a challenge in terms of time zone coordination, but I have to say that at BlueOrchard, we're very familiar and used to working with all the things that were new to everybody else over the last year have been something that we've been familiar with for quite some time. So we have Zoom calls, we have Teams calls, we have Skype calls, and have had for a very long time. So it's every day I speak to 3, 4, 5 different colleagues that are located in multiple locations. So it's actually been quite a seamless transition for us over the last year.
So how often do you see each other in person?
Every 2 years, we have a great event. It's like a BlueOrchard week where everybody comes in from the local offices and we meet in one location. There are trainings, there are strategy sessions, there's various meetings, and then there's also a lot of team building activities and social events as well. So it's a great opportunity to really get to know everybody, the people that have joined in the meantime, because of course it is a fast growing company and there's always a few new faces in the crowd.
Well, rumor has it that you received an award at one of these events. Do you care to share?
And I even brought it along in my backpack because I thought you might ask about this. But yeah, here it is. It's my very own Oscar, which is very sweet. I'll read it out to you. It's the 2018 BlueOrchard Corporate Citizenship Award. And so this was given to me at the last, as you mentioned, at one of the events at the BlueOrchard Week 3 years ago. And so it's not all work. We also have fun at these events. There are parties and dinners. And so we were having this dinner, and then a few weeks before the event, we'd all received an email from the CEO asking us to nominate somebody that had gone the extra mile, that they felt had been, it helped them out in some aspect of their work, and that they felt was deserving of this corporate citizenship award. So much to my surprise, that ended up being me, and it was very sweet, and I was very touched that I got the award, and it was a lot of fun.
All right, well, congratulations. Not too many people have one of those gold men on their mantle. So, all right, but to wrap it up, then, because there are so many of our viewers are eager to know more about how to pursue a career in impact investing, what would be your biggest piece of advice or your recommendations? How do they get there?
So the starting point really is having passion for the field of impact investing, having creativity. It's an extremely dynamic field, and so new ideas are needed all the time. And bringing creativity, bringing innovation, and bringing that passion is critical. There's one other element though, and this is one of my last items from the backpack. That I brought along specifically related to this is the wrench, is this tool. And what this represents is really, there's the passion is great, but you also need to bring along tools and contributions. So your background with your background to bring along expertise that can move this industry along, that can move the company along, are really quite critical. And I mentioned before when I was talking about my colleagues of all the different backgrounds that people have, they're all backgrounds that do bring these tools with them to further the industry. The wrench also reminds me of one of the first clients that I met way back in a due diligence trip back in 2005 in Peru. And I met with a woman who had started, her story was essentially that she'd been a street vendor and had a table with a variety of tools, so hammers, saws, wrenches, whatever. And over time, she'd taken out some loans from a local microfinance institution, and over time had built up this store, which is what she had when I saw her, this fantastic, well-stocked, well-supplied, really nicely put together hardware store that she had developed. I always like to see when women succeed in what are more male-dominated fields or male-dominated jobs. And so the fact that she had chosen hardware and selling tools to me was great. And she also had a really great balance between her gratitude for the support that she had received, because she was very grateful, but at the same time was just proud of her own accomplishments. I mean, she had taken this opportunity and she had made quite a lot out of it. And so I think it's important, and this will bring me to the very last item in the backpack, which is a parting piece of advice to all those people looking to work in impact investing. Our book on This Is My Story, it's really their stories that are the most critical and the most important when you're working in impact investing. Don't forget them. This is where it all begins, and this is what we're working towards.
Well, thank you so much for your time and for your insights today, Lisa. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. It was great to talk to you.
And thanks to all of you, of course, for watching. Remember, stay tuned to this space for more insights on impact investing. See you next time.